Wow, another day.
Another day, another dollar, as I like to say, and also another day, another pair of pit vipers on the run, because we are looking swaggy today.
It looks like we're ready to hit the hills, or maybe just, have an epic beach day. Either way, these are not getting removed from our face.
I also want to say that this has nothing to do with anything. Like, I think so much product placement these days happens that's just like sponsored and or like brought to you by. And I just want to say that Pit Viper community doesn't know who Jaclyn and I are, but we support them with great joy. And that is because, I don't know, because they're just so cool and I belong in the 80s.
But also brought to you by Pit Vipers.
No. Could you imagine if that was the ad read? And we're just like, and guys, they let us write our own creative ad read.
Also, if you're only watching this or listening to this on the podcast app or on Spotify or wherever you listen to it, you need to watch the YouTube version because something is happening visually and you just gotta see it. Guys, we are so techie these days. It's crazy. The Pit Vipers, the microphones. Can you see these?
We've just brought such a heightened level of joy to the podcast.
Oh, it was hot
coffee. I gave her a hot coffee. So guys, this is so unlike us. We're actually filming the podcast on a Sunday fun day. We never once, I don't think, have filmed the podcast on a Sunday. And I gotta say, I'm bringing new energy to the table because it is the end of the week. And I just feel like after a joyful week, I have so much to bring.
I'm gonna be honest. There's a reason the Pit Vipers are on, and it's because I'm deceased. I have the coffee in hand. I need caffeine. I had a weekend with my little cousins. They're so cool, but I'm just depleted of energy right now.
I understand. I've been sleeping like a queen. Like, I don't understand. I go to bed so early. Well, okay, so let's move backwards. So we've got lots to update you guys on.
This was a crazy week of successes for the friend group.
Yes, we had it all begins and ends with the wild roast. And I think we need to talk about the roast so I had a friend chat with me the other day and she said, I don't understand. I keep seeing you guys talk about this roast. Like, what is this? What was this inspired by? So back to the original friend, Megan Taylor, who we speak of every day.
Brought to you by Megan Taylor.
Yeah. She is our Irish inspiration in life. And so it's just really interesting because...
The Pit Vipers are making my nose run.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's hitting a certain pressure point on the nostril. I might need to exit.
So in the UK and in Ireland, specifically, she is kind of infamous for doing these like Sunday roasts. But that's very normal there. They just do these sort of moments with family and they enjoy these roasts, and it's sort of this like full-on Thanksgiving dinner, but instead of making it for a special occasion, you literally just do it every single week, which honestly, as someone who loves a Thanksgiving dinner, it's brought so much happiness to my life.
Well, I wish our families, like, I didn't do a Sunday roast every day, and I get visiting like your grandparents on like a weekend, but it wasn't a tradition to the level that the Irish do it.
No, and I think, and that's what's interesting too, because I am more regimented in the sense that I feel like I do see my family sort of every Saturday or Sunday and we do a brunch or a dinner, but it's not themed. Like,
the roast is something specific.
It is.
It's like a roast.
It's something about a gravy and a potato and like a beef or a chicken. And so anyways, it's this, and full on thing that we have now brought the friend group into this sort of weekend adventure.
And we forced them all to cook for us because let me be clear, we have neither hosted a roast so far.
No, I bring wine and that's what I contribute every time.
And I bring a vegan turkey cutlet each time.
Yeah, so it's perfect. So anyways, our friend Rebecca and Steven, our friends Rebecca and Steven, they hosted last week. So this is the thing, it's kind of this like we transfer the hosting duties so that it's not at one person's house every time. So anyways, last Sunday we had this epic roast, now that you guys know what it's all about, and it's crazy because we had literally so much to celebrate. So I'm
pretty sure you were hinting about it in the last podcast. You're like, Jaclyn, there is huge news, but I can't even tell you. And I was like, okay, once the pod is done. And you're like, no, I can't even tell you off the pod. It's like an actual NDA secret.
And I am not one for keeping, I'm not like that great with keeping secrets, especially at that caliber
you were
where
good.
It's exciting.
You did not actually peep a thing.
I didn't peep. No one knew. So essentially what I had hinted at was that Adam had some big news to release. And the epic news is that Adam actually got to shoot, he was the cinematographer on Drake's new video Popstar, which is
the most epic video ever. It's so good and everyone is talking about it.
Yeah, it's so cool. And he got kind of lucky because Drake was obviously only able to be in the first half of the video because the rest of it was shot in LA, and due to quarantine and obviously coronavirus, Drake could not actually be in LA to shoot the video. So the whole kind of concept of the video is that they call in the Bieber to Justin Bieber, and then Justin is kind of
Justin did a great job.
Yeah,
I will
and then
say
he
I might
kind
be
of-
a belieber now.
That's what I'm saying. So he kind of takes on Drake's, vibes in the video and then pretends to be Drake and kind of puts on this whole performance. And so there was a Toronto unit that got to go to Drake's house and shoot the opening segment of Drake kind of, doing the intro with DJ Khaled and all that. So Adam got to be the cinematographer in that and actually shot that portion of the video and got to work with Drake and his team. And yeah, it was so cool.
That is huge. You
Yeah.
must be like the proudest girlfriend ever. That's
Definitely
so exciting.
proud girlfriend moment. It's funny because I think we always knew in the back of our heads. I mean, I have so much faith in his career and so much faith in what he does. It was so obvious to me like early on that, this would happen. But it's just crazy that it happened this early in his career. Like we always knew, you know what I mean? Like I was like, you will work with Drake, but it's so crazy that it happened this early on and that it was such a success and that the teams were so happy with him. And
well, it's like one of those pivotal career things. It's like, it's going to be before and after Drake. Like it's going to be a moment.
It is for sure. And I think also the cool experience of, well, also in a year like 2020 where there's so much crap going on, it's so nice to have that one silver lining or that one project that actually meant something to you and brought you kind of like forward in your career. Oh, for sure.
Something that I found really fascinating, and I know I was talking Adam in your ear off when we were all having the roast because we all had a million questions.
Yeah.
And I was just so gagged by how quickly it got turned around because Adam basically found out, say on a Tuesday that he booked it, Tuesday night was prepping for it, shot it on the Wednesday, it got released Thursday morning.
Yeah, it was like a 24-hour time, lapse.
Turnaround, yeah.
And what's so crazy too is apparently as they were shooting, Drake was saying, all right, is this going to be live right now? I think he has this expectation of like once something is done, it just needs to be out to the world. And I think when you have teams working for you, like that would be the goal. Like the amount of like time you can even imagine from your perspective, like shooting a video and then being like, okay, this will be out like next week because you have this timeline of editing and putting it all together. But like, could you imagine someone else is behind the scenes just making all that happen and then literally within 20 minutes your video is live? Like it's so crazy.
Actually, not to like divert the conversation, but this completely just triggered me to a conversation, and we haven't really even spoken a ton about it off camera yet, but I had hosted that Madison Beer event last week, and something that we were chatting about is that her album, because she's waiting to release this album, it's her first album, her full-length album, and she's like, I wrote all of these songs and this music a year and a half ago. And so I was talking to the idea, I'm like, in this immediate world of social media where you post something instantly, you get feedback instantly, how do you hold on to something for so long? And in comparison to like a Drake where he has an idea, it's shot, and the next day it's out, it's like the traditional timeline of turnaround, especially in the music industry, has changed so much. And there's some people who still are at that slower pace, the more traditional pace. But now we have the tools to get it out the next day. And Adam's like, hey, I just shot this yesterday and here it is.
But I think that speaks to also my inherent impatience in life, which I don't think is necessarily a good thing. Like, I think our world has become bred to this instant satisfaction. And I was listening to even a podcast this morning, Second Life, which I really enjoy.
You got me onto that one.
And a lot of these, I think it was Aisha Curry on the episode, and she was just talking about how, so much of her time was, years of prepping a cookbook or years of like prepping something before it actually got released. And it gives me anxiety. Like I want things to happen so fast, and maybe that's our generation. I don't know. Like we want everything to be like, okay, if we're gonna do this, I need it to like happen and happen quickly. And I don't know if that's good or bad.
It's interesting. I can understand both sides of it because, especially doing YouTube, and if I want to make a video today, edit it all night, and post it the next day and get an immediate reaction, I can.
Totally.
Sure, there's going to be projects, whether it's actual makeup things, non-YouTube related, that I understand that things do take time.
Yeah.
But there is this weird kind of like no rules anymore because
I know.
Since a lot of people can do things at home and they can do it themselves, that the pace gets changed. So sure, people are doing cookbooks in 2 years, but then someone's going to go, hey, I'm just going to go hard, grind it out, hustle, and it's out in a week. So it's like, how do you compete when everyone's on such different timelines? So it's hard, I'm sure.
It's actually a bit sad. Yeah, because you always feel like you're chasing something that you don't even, like, you don't know.
But then on the flip side is that things feel so relevant. If you have this amazing concept, you don't have to sit on this song and wait. Because
true.
I was talking back to this Madison thing. She's like, yeah, this is a situation in my life that was so relevant and such a hard thing for me to think about a year and a half ago. Whereas now it's fully digested and it's like, it's looking back in my life.
Right. Like,
so it totally changes
by this at
exactly
all.
how things are performed. But I think that's so cool, that whole Drake story, how that like happened so quick. And it's just like, yeah, out the next day, no big deal.
Yeah, it was, and honestly, from I mean, from the crew perspective and people working on it, like that must just feel so nice to not have to. And also Adam, even like, I'm going to be totally honest. Like I knew nothing. Like Adam obviously we had the conversation that he obviously got hired, and I knew that he was going to work at his mansion. Like I knew the like gist of it, but Adam obviously knew the back end of the fact that like there was a whole Justin portion and like all the like back and forth of like what that all looked like. And he even didn't share that with me because of obviously obvious reasons, NDAs and things intact. But it's just crazy. Like, could you imagine if he had to keep that secret from me for like...
That's what I was going to say. Do you think people on that level work with such a quick turnaround because they know the secret? They don't want things to get leaked or secrets to come out. So you do think that's why they make it so quick, or that they just go, hey, I'm so-and-so, get it done? Like, or is it a mix of the two?
I don't know. Like,
I'm sure people would leak shit before it's like ready to.
It could be about the leak, but I also think at that scale they don't care that much. Like, I don't think it would have. Well, maybe yes or no. Like, I don't know that it would have. I guess so, but there's so many things in place that protect those things from happening, and at that scale. So I will say, like, from an album perspective, I think they're very protective of it. Like, I don't think they want anything about like songs or names of songs. Like that stuff is important to artists, and they want that to come out in their own time. But something like if they had seen that Justin was on site shooting a Drake video and someone had seen that Justin was on site, I don't know that that's going to ruin the concept, because Justin is involved in Drake's life and it could just be what it is. But I think they do fight to like keep it as...
It's crazy.
It really is.
It's like inspiring, that level of turnaround.
It's very inspiring, and inspiring that my boyfriend has stood in Drake's basement, or really in his recording
did we even say that? He went to his house.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So cool. And yeah, so I think it was just like a really epic kind of turnaround.
That is so inspiring, and I love that energy. Before we hop into our next stories, we actually want to talk to you a little bit more about our sponsor. We've been talking about Herbaland gummies for so long, and we've been consuming them for truly just the most time. They're so good. This episode is brought to you by Herbaland Gummies, and Herbaland Gummies is the largest gummy manufacturer based out of BC. They've mastered gummy vitamins and supplements. They are not only delicious, but they're potent, and they're also inclusive. Herbaland wants to make gummies that are good for everyone and good for the planet. They make vegan, sugar-free, allergen-free, and gluten-free gummies. Not to mention, both their manufacturing and compostable packaging are eco-friendly. That's why I've been loving taking the gummies every day, because I know I'm making the best choice for my body and for the environment.
I love that they have a gummy for everyone and any occasion, from beauty and fitness gummies to daily vitamins and even clean candy, which, you know, Jack and I love a clean candy. Herbaland has something for everyone. If you have a love for all things wellness, beauty, or fitness and want to join their inclusive gummy crew community, check out their brand ambassador program at herbaland.com. While you're there, you can actually get 20% off your order with our discount code PoddyTalk20. I highly recommend looking at the immunity gummies. I don't know if you've tried those, but
I have.
In a time of COVID, that seems like the type of gummy I would like to take. So thank you, Herbaland, for sponsoring this episode, and let's jump back in.
Yeah, wow. Love our Herbaland. We're actually heading out to a friend's birthday later at the island. I don't know if you can see my bag. I brought my little candies, my Herbaland gummies in there.
Yeah, a little healthy snack.
No, they're so good. Wow, so much going on. So we had Drake. We've got an island day today. We had your sister bought a house. We were celebrating every single thing at the roast.
We had multiple cakes. Like our dessert, we thought the oven wasn't going to work for our pie, so then I ordered
we almost burnt down our house.
Yeah, we ordered I ordered ice cream cakes from Baskin Robbins. Like it just felt like we had so much to.
Oh, I missed that part of the evening. That just kind of escaped me.
Yeah, well,
did you just subtly get them to enter? How did that happen?
I Uber Eats them, but my sister actually did tell me, because I saw her yesterday. She goes, so Jaclyn and I were exchanging text messages the next day because we had so many bruises. Apparently you guys, well, I saw you, not apparently. I witnessed the WAP dance being performed at such an extreme level.
You know what? I actually read a tweet today, and it says, if there's one thing that COVID has robbed me of, it's being out at the club when WAP comes on. Can you just imagine that level of it would just be epic.
Just the hype, yeah.
I mean, just like the rest of the world and TikTok, I'm obsessed with that song and that dance, and I do it at any given moment. So at the roast, things did get a little rowdy, and, we were really enjoying the evening. Celebrations were going around.
Yeah.
And we had a little dance crew going on. And the thing with the WAP performance is that, you know what, this is coming up as a recurring theme, because I think at the Torchella episode, we were talking about how I got injured from doing this same dance.
Yeah.
But anyways, there's a lot of movement, and you're on the ground doing some, splits and some interesting, really beautiful movement. And I got so many bruises from it.
I just didn't even know my sister had it in her. I mean,
she had it in her more than I had it in me.
That's what I'm saying. She's so funny because really at her core, she's such a what is that called? Like, it's like a shuffle, right? Like, she's like really into like deep house music and like that kind of vibe. And so when she goes clubbing, I've like seen her, like she like shuffles, and like that's like her thing, and she's really good at it. I don't know how to shuffle. That's like, I think it's
I'm
called
actually
shuffling,
such a
right?
bad, you're like
Yeah, you just kind of like keep moving and like you like hit the beats and stuff. So when I saw her diving into this like TikTok theme of the WAP dance, I was just
she had like the body rolls and like everything was right.
Speaking of TikTok, Jaclyn and I have realized we are on the same algorithm in the sense that we see the exact same videos. So like when she references any funny video, I've already seen it. And
I'm like, you know, the guy with the green shirt, you're like, who said so? And I'm like, oh my God, yeah.
I think that's so smart that just TikTok gets me. I think
but that's how algorithms should be. All of our friends, because we all should be consuming the same stuff.
Far better than Instagram. Instagram needs some serious assistance in
Honestly,
2020.
I'm going to say this, and maybe I shouldn't because I know part of my career is on there.
Yeah.
I'm over Instagram.
Are you?
I care in the sense that like I like seeing my personal friends' stories.
Yes.
Like my actual real life friends, not my Instagram friends.
Yeah.
I like staying updated with their lives.
Yeah.
But I don't like, I'm
It's
just like,
it is what it is.
I don't,
yeah.
I'm not
TikTok
inspired
is
by
way
it to the
more
level
inspired.
Exactly.
Inspiring.
And it's not that I don't like Instagram. I'm just so much more enthralled with the TikTok world.
I completely agree. And maybe this goes back to like, we all get bored and we move on so fast. But something about TikTok feels... it just feels a bit different than Instagram. Like, I like that it's way more video content as opposed to photo content.
And you know what I like?
People are so creative.
This is the perfect example. So literally 10 minutes prior to us taping this episode, we had a little technical glitch in our last episode with the mics. We're like, we wanted to like learn a new solution.
Yeah.
So I'm YouTubing things, watching some videos, trying to teach myself. And it's a 10-minute video for really something that could have been explained in 45 seconds.
Of course.
So with TikTok, it forces you have a 60-second cap to explain smarter and with less words.
I agree.
The same thing, which is so much more efficient. And I love efficiency and you love efficiency.
Yes, and back to our original quote forever, which is work smarter, not harder, which I think TikTok embraces so beautifully. And I also think, that's maybe why it performs. Because like I've even had people comment on my TikTok videos, like my acting ones, being like, oh, can you do like a YouTube video on this? And I'm like, but guys, you're getting the same information in 60 seconds. Like it's better. I understand.
You can find it more. Like it's like,
like I understand the long
properly.
form. For sure. Like I think there's always going to be a place for that because it's the same as like TV and like we want the 45-minute like show or the 1 hour movie or whatever it is. But something about TikTok, it feeds that like instant satisfaction that I think we're all looking for. But again, that algorithm still makes no sense to me. Like I posted this random video of like literally like dabbing like something on my face and it has like 300,000 views and I'm like,
really?
How? Yeah, like I
know,
just don't
it's crazy what goes off. But it's so the impact is insane because I even think my cousins were up, like I said, we were doing some like window shopping and like walking outside in the city and they were like, oh my God, I saw this store on TikTok. Like what is this store? And I was like, what? Like they heard about this random vintage store that I'm like,
so it's like literally, like the marketing is crossing over.
And I know Amazon purchases have been so insane. Like I bought so many things.
Absolutely. Like, and it's crazy to see the like brands starting to shift, the amount of just like even emails I've gotten in the last like few weeks of people starting to like try and activate on it and understand that platform from like a brand perspective to then like use creators, which it's just so interesting. And I wonder, like, is it going to be the same way that like when you and I started and we started to be able to make money on Instagram and YouTube and all those things early on, like, is this the new frontier? Like those people that already now have like 500,000 followers, like, are they going to be able to monetize it? Or is it, or like, I don't know yet. Like, I'm like, are we only getting deals because we already have a space in that industry?
I hear what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
I think, there's something I think definitely to be said for, of course, already having that network of people.
Right.
But I mean, that reach definitely has a value. So I'm sure people will find a way. But it's like, again, half the time these are kids maybe who don't have a background in business. So it is interesting.
And that's the thing. You could be good on TikTok, but does that mean you actually know like how to be on the back end of like working on a campaign or like hosting a situation? You know what I mean? Like I'm curious on that.
That like segues me into another thing. I mean, so interesting because there's been many situations when, say, I've been on set for more of a proper production for something that extended from a YouTube campaign. Like, I feel like the core of what I do is always social media, but when I go into more like live productions, like I know when I've done red carpets like live before, or I did a campaign with the brand and we like had a full crew and like I had to basically like learn this entire script for it, right?
Of course.
And I feel very fortunate with my experiences growing up and being in the acting world growing up and then also having, I mean, I don't know what other experiences, I guess, would help.
No,
Mainly
but
that.
Ayesha Curry was talking about that literally this morning, because did you know that she was an actor?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and like she literally said that, like, it's so interesting that you don't realize it at that time, but those lessons actually inform where you're going, because like obviously now she's just like a host for her cooking show, but like, yeah, very similarly to you, it's like you have those experiences and then they actually just inform how you get to your next step.
Totally. And I look back at all those experiences so fondly and I go, that was the reason why I had that moment of my life, because I can go on set and be comfortable and fine learning and memorizing lines. And with all my hosting stuff now, that's a complete like extension of my comfort zone. Like I love that stuff. And there's been situations when I've been with other influencers who are so used to just having the luxury of their own time, shooting videos in their own time, editing things. They're not necessarily used to working with the pace of like, okay, we've got 5 minutes, we have to get this shot, let's get it right kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely.
And people sometimes also clam up in front of that many people and strangers, which I totally get.
It's so crazy. It's like you can have 5 million or 2 million or even whatever, 500,000 followers on YouTube and be this YouTube star. And then you meet these people in person and you're like, wait, what? You're like socially anxious and like not comfortable in front of a camera. Like it makes no sense to me or to you, because I think we're naturally extroverted people and come from that world. But it does make me feel a type of way, because it is shocking kind of how much you can fake it. And that is scary.
I was hosting something and I was in another person's session prior to mine.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was that entire situation. This was like a TikTok star who was doing it. And on TikTok, of course, crazy numbers, great content. Like I even enjoyed seeing their stuff. Yeah. And then I watched them in this situation where they had to host and it just didn't translate properly. It was not the proper flow. And I think that's something that companies, I mean, our understanding, it's just because someone can make a TikTok or have an online presence, it doesn't necessarily translate to them being a good actor or to being a host. I think that's also up to people doing their research a little more. Like, totally. That's the brand's fault. It's a little bit like frustrating to me when people get opportunities to do something when you just know that's not a natural fit. Like, whether that's like hosting or you know, doing like a large speech or something. Insta celeb turn into an actor, like that gen are the new actors now, which is like interesting as well. And there's the right demo of those people that it flows so naturally. Like, I hate to bring him up again because we talk about him far too much, but like David Dobrik, where it's like now he's like a host of some like dodgeball show. But yes, that makes sense for him because he naturally has that personality. But also it is interesting, speaking about David Dobrik, and I say this because I love him. Yeah. You see him on shows like Jimmy Fallon, and it's not quite as polished as, which is why he has the appeal and why it works on YouTube. Right. But his interviews, you can totally tell if you had 10 videos, he's the YouTuber out of everyone else because he's a little more awkward on those formats. Oh, if you watch him on the Jimmy Fallon. And the thing is, I already love him, so I think it's endearing. But you can definitely see how his comfort zone is what he's doing, and that's why it works so well on YouTube. And also maybe like his comfort zone is like the control aspect. Totally. Which I think most YouTubers prefer to be able to make the edit, whereas I feel completely unattached to that, like as a human, which I think you could probably agree with too. Like, I mean, you have an editor, like to the point where you're like, okay, it's done. Like you figured it out. And I feel like I disagree though, actually. Oh, really? Yeah. You like to control the edit. Kind of. Okay. Like, so perception wise, like you want to be able to see like how you're perceived. Kind of. Well, I think it's harder to go back. So I know what you're saying. Yes. Because I think I've never done it like that. So I don't care. Because I'm like, I have no control. I don't care. Exactly. Whereas now I'm at the point, and I say this from a recent example of, I did a YouTube video for this part of this campaign with the brand. And then we did a like professional in studio. They shot it and they did it. And I saw that version. And I go, well, one, that is not, I don't like the edit. Hideous. Exactly. And it's hard to go backwards when I'm so used to, I hated that angle, that wasn't shot right. Yeah. I prefer when I'm lit this way, then I'm just going to go and do it and light it the way I like. No, that makes sense. So, and then it's hard because there are pros and cons. In some moments I'm like, oh, I just wish I had an amazing team and they could just do this all for me. I didn't have to think about that. Yeah. But now it's like, now that I have the control and the ability to do it the way I want to, it's hard to step backwards. Science, it's a little bit easier because you know what works and what doesn't. But also that being said, I'm fine to let go if I need to, but I prefer to do it the way I want. Whereas I feel like even on David's podcast, like he talks about how he can't let go control, like his obsession with making the edit his edit and I feel like there has to be a fine line. Totally. If only if you're going to balance those two worlds, meaning traditional entertainment being on a TV show where you have no control of the edit versus YouTube where you're obviously in control. Well, did you see, I think it was Addison Rae just got announced that she's going to be starring in the new, oh my God, what movie is it? It's like kind of like an iconic like late 90s movie. And they're doing like a remake. Comeback. And people were feeling some type of way. So interesting to me in terms of like her career and like what's gone on. Like, could you imagine like literally less than a year and a half ago, just nothing, and then your whole life explodes? And I am fascinated by this. It is so fascinating. Like even like Charlie D'Amelio, like the whole thing is like really
so fantastic.
Oh, She's
in
All
some
That. Do you know what that movie
yeah,
is?
She's All That. Oh, that's so
It says
interesting.
remake coming soon, starring TikTok star Addison Rae.
That is interesting. I don't know how she's going to be as an actor.
But that's what I'm saying. It's so interesting. There is such, and I'm sure you've seen those types of shows as well, that like, okay, they get certain people because they can pull in an audience and they have a name.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a sink or swim. These people either rise to the occasion and they, are trained and then like become these great actors, or vice versa. It's like the cringiest thing. So it is always fascinating to see. And
it is. Well,
hoping for the best,
I had
of course.
just seen that new movie Tenet.
Oh yeah, how
and
was that?
Really, really good.
The reverse movie, right?
Yeah, like if you like good movies, go see it. and
if you're Jaclyn Forbes,
but if you're, I was gonna say, but if you're Jaclyn Forbes, don't go see it.
No, I just have a problem. I can't watch movies. That's no shade to the movies. It's a personal issue.
The lead in it, he started out as a football star. Like he was not an actor.
Football star.
Well, it just blows my mind
crazy.
that people can have this like really insane crossover from an industry that is so unrelated and then just completely rise to the occasion. And he was fantastic in the film, which actually brings me to another part of like the movie world, which I know you hate discussing, but actually,
no, I don't. I like talking about it.
Adam
I'm just
and I,
bad at it.
we actually went to our first TIFF film last night.
Oh yeah, how was that? I saw the little drive-in.
Yeah, well, it's so interesting, right? Like to consider how, and we had a few events this week, even like you and I, and it's so weird the shift that has gone on with COVID, but also the imagination and like the creativity to bring these events to life and still like touch an audience and still like engage, the online community, because like they're still inviting media and like making.
Were you guys in your car? Or did you guys sit outside?
So
how
it was really interesting. So basically, TIFF is obviously just a drive-in style this year, or online. Like you get a link to the movie and you watch it at home. But like if you're media, or like if you have some like clout, I guess you can get invited to like the drive-ins. Or I guess it must be open for some level of GA as well.
I think there's probably
but most of it was like for the talent.
Yeah.
Like obviously some of the actors show up and that's the whole thing. So anyways, Adam and I pull up and we had like the nice one, which was like the city view. Like it's over by Polson Pier in Toronto, like right downtown.
Cute.
So you like pull up and you drive in, and then it's cool because you actually are designated a spot, which is nice because most drive-ins are like first come, first serve. But this is like, no, if you're elite, like you get a good spot, which is kind of hilarious. So we like pulled up, we had a really good spot. And then of course, like Adam, classic, knows so many of the people like working on the crew side of things, like either on like the lighting side or like just that help set up the whole event. So he saw one of his like fellow photographers like up front, like in like the media section. So then we walk up and we're like chilling, and then actually, who I ran into was Lamar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, who also is, which may mean nothing to you guys, but Lamar went to high school with me, and he's like a really talented actor, but has gone on to do like fabulous things, and has like worked with Halle Berry and all these really crazy actual milestones.
Really epic eve where it was the
we went to the Raptors game.
That was such a fun night.
Yeah, the last time Jack and I saw him, we were a little
with your dad too.
Yeah, we were with my dad. We were like doing tequila shots. Like, so anyways, he was there because his best friend Shamir, who also went to my high school, like it's so weirdly
your high school has produced a lot of stars,
a lot of talent. Yeah, it's actually wild. So yeah, like Dante Colley, if you guys know who that is, he also went to school with me.
Torri
He was
Webster,
a grade
do you know
younger.
Who that is?
He was a grade younger than me, but like we were all in musical theater together, so really
They're
strange and
right,
interconnected.
Sure.
Wexford Collegiate shouts out. So then anyways, Shamir was on the red carpet because he is the lead of this new movie. It's actually Halle Berry's directorial debut. So it's
How was that movie actually?
So it's called Bruised. It's really interesting. It's about a female MMA fighter and kind of like her journey, she like grew up in Newark, and it's like this whole kind of like journey of like she was a star and then lost her stardom, and then she's fighting back to find this stardom, but like is in this abusive relationship and like has a son. Like it's very like convoluted, but I will say Halle was amazing in it. Like she did a really good job. And then one of her co-stars, who I don't know her name right off the bat, but like was beautiful in it and like fabulous. So there was some really nice acting from a more like I don't know, like directorial perspective. Adam was not thrilled, I'll say. Like,
oh, really?
Well, he rated it a 5 out of 10.
Oh.
Which is, from my perspective, from a filmmaker like Adam, that's kind of like a harsh rating, I would say. But I don't know. I'd give it like a 6. Like it was, but is that still low? I mean that in a good way. Like it was good. Like 6 is worth watching to me. It's just not a 10. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't go.
Yeah, fair. No, it's interesting because Do you
still enjoy seeing a bad movie to like have like flavors on the palate kind of thing?
Yeah. So it was really nice being in a drive-in in that moment, because what's so fun is that we can actually like be critical of the movie as it happens. So like if a scene is being shot weird, Adam will say, "Oh, I really didn't like that shot," or vice versa. I'll be like, "Oh, that was a really beautiful moment," or "Oh, I really liked that line." And you don't get that when you're sitting in a quiet theater, and you kind of forget as it goes. So then you don't know what to talk about when it's over.
What do they say when you're waiting for the movies? They're like, "Don't be a talking Tina.
Oh,
Be
yeah.
quiet during the movie. Like, you know.
But I've realized that from like, a critical perspective, I really like sitting with someone that also enjoys film and having those. I think also because that's our background and we love those kind of dorky combos.
No, totally.
But so that was kind of fun because we got to actually be critical as it went. And there really were some really, really nice moments. And then it just didn't like come together. And in Adam's point, he was like, look, this is her first time directing. He goes, that's just what it feels like. It feels like a first. And you've got to start somewhere.
But that's always good because room for growth.
That's what I'm saying. You got to start somewhere, and hey, she's gorgeous and like was great in it. So it is what it is.
Damn. Also, on a side note, I just was sitting here and I lifted the pit vipers. Oh. Look at how pink the world looks.
Oh my God.
Isn't that crazy?
Wait, so it actually affects our sight?
Well, I think this is just so like blue toned. You know how I feel about blue toned?
No. Something has changed in my eyeballs.
No. It's just we've been so, because you know what? Our brain and our eyes adjust really easily, like white balance. We quickly adjust. So we've just been so adjusted to the way that this tint has made our life.
Wait, are you kidding?
I know, the world seems so pink right now. But it's just the warmth of the world.
I prefer
a pit viper world.
Yeah.
Guys, comment down below if you want us to always wear the pit vipers in every episode. Maybe we can do Poddy Talk pit viper merch. We'll work on that.
Oh my God.
Pit viper, reach out.
Anyways, long and short of it, let's hop into some roses and thorns.
Oh my goodness.
Moving.
Okay. Guys, I'm so excited. Torri, I have to also give a shout out. This actually was a fabulous coffee and this has revived me. Like I didn't know if I'd be alive.
Make it, but you made it. So that's the rose.
Also though, I did sleep like 8.5 hours. So I should be well rested.
Weird.
But just, I think, you know when you export a lot of energy into the world and you're like, ugh.
You're trying to import again.
I'm trying to import it and recharge, you know, baby. Another rose is that we're going to go see a bunch of our friends and be on the island and say goodbye to summer. It's like kind of
goodbye.
It's not summer, let's be real, but we're trying to cheat it and we have bikinis. I don't know how those are going to
I don't know if that's going to happen, but like, okay.
We're going to bring it for the lols. And then something that I'm looking forward to is we're going on our first COVID-friendly brand trip. We're going glamping outdoors tomorrow. And I am honestly so excited. So I'm so eager to see how this works.
Love it. Okay.
What about you, babe?
Rose number one. Yeah, so we didn't even get into this story, but Jack and some of our girlfriends, we went on this Impossible Burger vegan tour.
Yeah, what the heck?
This week, and it was really hilarious. Like, we went to like multiple restaurants, and then these like really high-end chefs in Toronto like put together these like vegan burgers and pizzas. Like, it was really, really fun.
I have to say, that pizza was insane.
Unreal.
Insane.
Yeah, so good experience overall and like just good food night out with the gals. And then another rose, it was my mom's birthday yesterday, and we had the most unreal like brunch. Like, it was like French toast, potatoes, bacon, like just
good
gorgeous food week. Yeah. And then a thorn, I guess, would be, like Adam and I were saying, like, it's so thorny that all of the like events for TIFF are canceled. Like some of our like most prized moments are like going to these epic TIFF parties, especially together, because it's so fun not only to like network, but like Adam knows so many people and then I know so many people, and it reminds us that like we're a part of something. Like, I know people from weird walks of life in the entertainment industry, and then he knows people from like working with them, and it always makes us feel really nice as a couple to like go through those. I mean, it did happen honestly last night. Clearly we ran into tons of people.
I know what you mean though. Toronto is like it comes alive during TIFF.
It comes alive, and like it's so fun to be a part of it and feel like you're a part of the industry.
Totally.
So we're missing that this year because obviously that's gone with all the COVID related stuff. And then a rosebud is that specific to, yes, looking forward to this glamping trip, but I'm very much looking forward to specifically the hairstylist that we work with on this, and her name is Cindy, and she just brings the greatest energy, and I just love her, and I feel like we're gonna have such a fun week with them. And there's a wine tasting, but when I saw the Chatters team previous, they were like, yeah, this is a zestier trip than the last one we went on, and I was like, okay, so I'm expecting a good old time. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, this has been too fun. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Poddy Talk, the podcast where we shit talk ourselves. I'm Jack.
And I'm Tor, and we brought you the most pristine audio, so you better love us.
As I choke in the camera. Goodbye.
Goodbye.